Okay. Ankush, you can start.
So a very warm welcome to everyone, all the participants who have joined us on Saturday today. So we will begin with the Pune chapter. Uh, Let me go. So today's agenda will be like who we are and how you connect with us, few news updates and upcoming events, and then we'll have quick tips to crack the certification PL600 where Bankert will be talking about some quick tips, and then in the end we'll have the Q&A session. This slide talks about our journey from where we started in 2018 and now in 2021, like how we have progressed. So in 2018, some of the community leads realized the need of the local community in Southeast Asia. Then we grew further. In 2020, members and leads started growing in Singapore, Malaysia, and many more countries. And in 2021, today we have LinkedIn following up approx 5.6K and Kaidala membership 850 plus. And in the future, a lot of new initiatives are coming up. So where to go? There are various ways on which you can connect with us. LinkedIn, Twitter, Kaizala. We have our own website as well, a portal where you can log in, where you can see all the blogs, the work which we have done so far, so everything. And we have the QR code as well for Kaizala. Just scan it and you will be routed to the Kaizala app where you can join us. If you want to speak in any of the Power Platform meetup, just scan the code or the URL given, just click on it. Once you submit the details, we'll get the information and either of us will get back to you for more information and then we can take it forward from there. So now we have some quick updates. Some of the news are the modern app designer, a new authoring experience now available in the preview worldwide. Using this, you can create model-driven app just like Canvas app, and you can view your preview immediately after designing. So you don't have to wait for it. Just click on the preview button, and then you can view the model-driven app. Other feature is the lookup column in the Power Platform is added. Users can access the advanced lookup view while selecting value for this column. And the third one is relationship validation for Dataverse solution will soon be available for preview. And the update, like we have been recording all the sessions, so those are available in the YouTube channel as well. So you can visit the YouTube channel and you will be you can see all the recordings of the session which we have so far. Thank you to our sponsor Dynamicity. Thank you so much. Like they have been sponsoring us since the beginning, I believe. So thank you so much. Sagar, I believe over to you now.
Thanks, Ankush. Yes. Yes. Good morning, people. I'm Sagar Rupani, and I'm co-moderating this meetup. And now let me introduce the speaker of the day, that is Venkata Subbarao Pulisetti. Venkata is an MCT community leader at the 65 Champs. He has got almost 11 plus years of experience in various technologies such as Azure integrations, unified service desk, database designing, and etc. He is also an active blogger. So we will share the URL of his blog in between the session. Apart from this, before I hand over the session to Venkata, I would like to mention that if you have any question, please feel free to drop your question in a chat window, or we will either take during the session or during the QA time, whatever the possible from the speaker side. Thank you again for the joining. Enjoy your session. Venkata, it's over to you.
Yeah, thanks Ankush and thanks Sagar for your good introduction. Okay, so let me share my screen and let me know once you could see my screen. Okay.
Sure.
Yes.
So are you able to see my screen?
Yes, Venkat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, thanks. Good morning, everyone. I would like to start this session with the quick tips to crack the certification PL600. So as already Ankush and Sagar has introduced me, I'm going to start it. And this is my quick view about who I am and where are my experience are about. These are my certifications and these are the ways you can connect me, and I will give a pass here. If you would like to scan it, it's fine, you can do it. Otherwise, I will be available in the LinkedIn and all. So let us go into the session right away. So let me give you the agenda for this one, like what is PL600 is about and its introduction and its learning path, and what are the things that we have to do for becoming a solution architect, and Power Apps architecture topics. And I also at the end, as I mentioned earlier, like I'm going to give about some sample project and I will be explain that one. And at the end, we'll be going to do how the project details fit gap analysis can we do it. So if you can see this one, this is an important point that we will be doing at the pre-sales where an architect will be going to do it. And post that one, as usual, I'll be going to give you some kind of tips to the common man and followed by an Q&A. So if you have any queries and all, just do use the chat window at the end. I can take it. Okay. So, yep. So what is this PL600 is introduction is about, and so actually this PL600 is an solution Microsoft Power Platform solution architect, and if you wanted to go through this the total details about, you can use this particular URL which I will be going to post in this particular chat window. So docs.microsoft.com and the certification exams and PL600. So generally, many of the projects knows about the architect and all, so he could be an there are if there are number of roles and responsibilities of an architect, and architects are of different types. We have solution architect, data architect, enterprise architect, like this there are a number of people are there. So okay, so this PL600 mainly concentrate about the Microsoft Power Platform solution architect. And see, there is a myth saying that okay, an architect should be a technical person, or another myth is architect cannot be a functional person. Okay, but it is not true. So if you are an architect, that means you should be familiar with the functionality, like you should have the knowledge about the functional concepts of the Microsoft Dynamics and related products, as well as the technical things also you have to do it. So as an architect, you are the one person who will be
The video is stuck.
Seems like
Venkata, we are not able to hear you. I think there is a challenge with internet or his connection.
yeah, yes. Let's wait for a couple of seconds. He might be back.
I think he has mentioned that his internet has dropped. So just give a couple of minutes. He'll be joining back.
Sure.
Meanwhile, another important announcement. Actually, we are recording this session. So if you don't want to get recorded on the session, so we'll be sharing the video link as well. So don't worry. So that's one thing which was missed. We'll just wait for Venkata to join back and present his session.
Also, as you mentioned, the previous session recordings are there in YouTube. Could you please share the URL of the channel here in the chat window?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, sure.
Sure.
Thank you.
So So Sagar, you have or shall I do that?
Yeah, I have just said over there.
Meanwhile, I'll stop the recording and I'll restart once Venkata joins. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you. So let us get back to this one. So there are two learning paths that are available for PL600. First learning path is total concentrating on the pre-sales and also the analysis phase of a project, which includes what it takes to become a solution architect, and also the discovering the consumer needs and proposing a solution and working with the requirements and performing the fit gap analysis. Okay, so most of the people like the development environment, whether it could be the leads or the functional lead or the technical lead, may not be aware of what you will be aware. Like once the development phase starts, there is a myth that prevails, like what the solution architect is going to do. We all are working. What the architect is going to do, he is not at all joining all the calls and all. But with this particular learning path and all, you will come to know what this particular gentleman is going to do behind the scenes. I will assure you, once you complete this particular training or this particular session, you will get some kind of an impression on an architect. So, and also the second learning path is and a solution architect should have a functional and technical knowledge, which I have said before, and he should have the knowledge of the Power Platform and Dynamics 365 apps, and also the which is related to the Microsoft Cloud solution, and also the third-party technologies. And this learning paths looks at architecture and also the data modeling and security, and also the related tasks for a solution architect. So what are the prerequisites to become an PL600? So an individual should have an experience with with Microsoft Power Platform as a developer or a functional consultant, and or else an experience with Dynamics 365 as a developer or a functional consultant. Okay, there is a new change path here. Earlier, when we are going for an MB600 and all, you should have an MB200 or MB210, 220, 230, and 240, either of it. Now, if you can, or MB400 to take the MB600. Now, if you have now PL200, then that is enough to take for an PL600 certification. So let me show you how to become a solution architect, and just the content is more ideally this particular total training session is an 4 complete day session of around 4 into 8, 32 hours. I'll try to cut short more such that at least you will get some kind of impression like what this particular certification is about, what will be present and all. So there are for any session and for every topic, there will be 2 sides of a coin. One side of a coin is how you will get an architect and what are all the basic things that an architect is going to do. And the second thing, how to crack a solution architect certification. So obviously, what are the roles of a solution architect in the projects and the project methodology and all that we are going to see here. So what is a solution architect? As I said before, a solution architect is a functional expert, technical expert, and go to knowledgeable resource and a problem solver and owner of the solution and its design. Okay, so a functional person will think that this is not my functional area. If I stuck in functional part and all, don't think that I don't have any other person to go. You can have an word within solution architect. In the same way, technical team and also if any business people are present, and also if there are any multiple solutions or multiple defects that you get and you don't know where to go and all, you can have a word with a solution architect. And also, if you wanted to know about the limitations of any architecture of any particular project, and if you wanted to enhance it, and if any particular business conversations are going on where a development team or a functional team is a part of it, then don't hesitate to include an architect also in that particular meeting, because he's a person who will be who is a functional expert, technical and go-to knowledgeable resource, and a problem solver and the solution of the design. So this is a typical architecture representation of a typical team. So you'll having a lead and all everything, just as we are going on an agile methodology. So solution architect may play the additional roles of a program manager or project manager and the delivery architect, where all the other peoples are all the other people are going to report to him. Okay, so what are all the soft skills that are required for an architect? See, just as a block diagram says that these are all the architect soft skills that they are required: collaboration, coordination, communication, and constructive feedback, and problems solving and delegation. So let us go as time by time. Collaboration, obviously the crux of this one, right? He should be a person who should not be an just not to concentrate on his own work, but he also have to have a discussion with the other teams like the functional team, QA team, deployment team, or the design team, business team, and also the product owners and the business people. Okay, and also, even though he is an expertise in all the areas, whether functional, technical, all these things, he should allow the other person to speak. Okay, even though he knows about anything, but he has to have an knack skill of listening skills should be present. So if you are an architect, you should be having 95% of the listening skills should be having. And also, don't as an architect in the collaboration, right, don't let the other person to inhibit his particular outcomes or the suggestion, but take the output, negotiate that one, whether it is feasible for the customer and also for the project teams. And the communication, like as I said before, communication is also one of the key skill where he should have the written and also the verbal or things out, and he also should have the knowledge about how to translate the technical to a business users and then back again. And he also have to have enough work from conversations to actionable requirements. And as I said before, he should be a good listener, which is an essential. And the next part is the problem solving. So the crux of this one, right? He should be a person who thinks about the big picture and solving the small problems. Okay, just as an example, right? As a technical person, we try to write the code more. Okay, so an issue comes, I try to code, but an architect, he thinks about a developer to let us write the code. In the same way, he thinks about the product. Is there any out-of-box feature that is available so that it can be used? Okay, so that is how it will be present. And he's a person who will go for the long-term solutions and the not shortcuts. And he's the design he will keep the design in his mind for the next phase. Any queries?
Guys, if you have any queries, you can raise your hand or you can just ask directly to the speaker.
Sure. See, yeah, thanks, Sagar. So if you observe, right, generally these are all the different phrases which are scattered like anything. Okay, so these are all the different stages which are present of initiation, designing, implement, preparation, and operation. So architect, his base functionality is he has to align all these things. So initiation and design, he has to, what are the main things that he has to do? He has to align with the customer, he has to align with the partner expectation, and he has to refine the risks to address, and also the things he has to plan the activities aligned with the project schedule, and he has to understand the customer project objectives and also the success matrix. And he also has to understand the customer program and governance model, and also has to have an information about the communication way, how the customer wanted to have a communication, okay, and how the information flow should be present, and who are all the main important stakeholders to take a decision whether to go for this particular strategy or not, and what are all the team dependencies. And another thing at the time of the design phase, like understand the functional requirements, adoption of the challenges, what are the intake that we can do, environment that we have to take into consideration, what are all the dependencies at the high level that we have to do it. And also he should be all again preparing for the high level architecture and also the solution assessment and explain the methodology. So this is the thing that we have to keep in mind, that architect is going to perform all these kind of activities, 7 activities at the time of initiation in the project, before project comes into the development stage and during the implementation. So that means so before initiation and design, the development team and the functional team will not be fully loaded, and once the implementation starts, then what is the thing the architect is going to do? He will be going to give about the project management best practices, what are there, and he is going to give about the solution and the integration, the teams are correctly doing and all. If not, he will be going to have a discussion with the particular teams and all. And obviously the documentation plays an important role here. So the functional and the technical design guidance he will be going to and reviewing. Obviously the functional people and the technical people or the people will be doing the initial documentation, but the peer review is also required, because there are certain things that you should not keep into the documentation, like many of the people do, as in technical developers or the functional people, to include more specifics about the project. Like if you say the technical people, they generally they will keep as an novice without knowing it. They'll keep the code, total code about it. But once the architect sees about it, he generally gives a review saying that remove that code that is present, but keep in pseudo code for it. That means what are the things that are expected from this particular method and all. And the next one is for migration and implementation best practices. Also, he will be going to see about it. And how the preparation, he will be going to have about the go live planning, and for testing and acceptance and technical and user readiness also he will be going to do it. And for operation, that is post completion of the project, he will be going to about seeing about the solution health, and he is going to usage and advise on tools and techniques to permanently monitor the adoption. That means once the project goes to a live, we will have a post production support for 1 month and 2 months based upon the contract that was signed for with the customer. So at that time also, during the operation of post deployment, after the deployment, the architect is going to do it, and he has to give manage and operate successfully, and he has to give the support model. So as I said before at the beginning, we are going to have a demo of it. That is, pre-sales is very much crucial for any particular project, and it has these phases: initiate, analyze, design, and implement and deploy. So these are all the things what are the architect is going to do. He's going to respond to the RFP, and he will be present as an introductory to the customer meetings, and he has to give the demos and also the proof of concepts, and he has to provide the solution envisioning. He has to educate the pre-sales resources and the sales representatives as well, and identify the other potential opportunities. Okay, so what is the best methodology that to do it and all? These are the things that are present. See, what are the benefits of knowing the customer? See, to get to so initially, whenever you are going to have an initial conversation with the customer, so think of it, your company got an opportunity to speak with a customer to get an business. So before having to have a schedule with that particular customer, there will be some time will be present. During that particular time, what are the things that an architect should do it? He has to simply go and do some kind of homework on the customer, like to get the financials about the customer, to get who are all the board of directors that are present, what are the lines of business and missions and goals and social media and news. Example, just see, if just imagine that if I am interacting with a person for the first time, if I can give something about his qualities and some specialties, he will be very good, and he will feel free to speak with an other person, right? The same way that we are also going to do as an architect before to have a conversation with the customer, just do all these things. So for the discovery phase, you have to do a survey, a workshop, and the job shadow. So wrapping up. So he is wrapping up. So solution architect is a key role for a project. He has to have soft skills, and he should have a board information how to reach to the Dynamics 365 Power Platform and Microsoft Azure capabilities, and allows architecting to best overall solution. So these are all the general exercises that you will be having. And let us go for the Power Apps architecture tips. As you see, nowadays, no code, low code movement is going on, and there are number of lakhs of and millions of applications that are required, and they will be coming up for the business industries to learn and go in a smoother way, where the Power Apps gives the tool for a number of non-functional, non-technical, and also the business people, where certain things can be done independently without the help of any technical person. So just we have to going for the start with the Dynamics. So operations for any apps, or we have the Dynamics 365, we have an app source, we have the custom solutions that are present. And we do have who started and joined for the first time for the Power Apps related meetups and all. Just as an introduction for you, as well as for an architect, this is way how he can enrich the knowledge of the end user or the business people or the sales representative and all about the product to get together. So Power Apps will have the different types of apps: Canvas apps, modern driven apps, and also the portal apps. So starts with the modern driven app. So modern driven apps, they are run with on the Microsoft Dataverse data driven, and the responsive UI. It has the consistent accessibility, and also it has the data relation navigation and security trimming of UI. So the crux of these things is you should know about different apps that are present in the Dynamics and when to use that particular app. So start with the Canvas app. Just not Microsoft data driven, a visual presentation of info and device integration, basic offline support, and SharePoint and Teams embedding. And for portals, external user focused, the web application, use model driven forms and views as a framework to surface Microsoft data, and can be customized with standard web technologies like HTML and JavaScript. So as a solution architect, you can have all the types like common pattern and Canvas app to solve edge cases, and Canvas app can be embedded. I told you right before, it is not so important that you should know each and everything about any particular product, but it is important that you should know which particular product or an application that to be used for a given situation. So generally the roadmap of converging app types, right? If you see for a Canvas apps, everything and all, these are the responsive and reflowing Canvas app pages, and these are seamless navigation between model driven pages and also the Canvas app. So if you see it right, then the roadmap of converging app types will be look like this. So if you see the connectors, so if you see the connectors and the expressions, business rules, and the theming, and if you see the Canvas app Canvas components, that is a PCF related things, and Canvas app also will have the interaction with the connectors, expressions, and the theming as well. So like this, how you can decide a mini apps that are present and all you should be knowing about. See, app composition, there are the things that needs to be present. We have number of apps that are present. There are 300 plus connectors that are present, and there are best practice that you have to do it. So when to go for particular, okay. If you wanted to extend and modify an existing app, always see for the new updates, include that you don't want it to need, may include the things you cannot reuse and replicate in the custom. And for compose a new app, complete control over what is needed, and you must manually add new things to the app navigation. And you can also use custom forms and views that you can control the structure of it. So the components, what it will use, right? It will help you to reuse the apps that are present. So components can allow multiple people to work on building a single app, like the Canvas app. So types of components, we have the Canvas components where targeted for Canvas app makers and work only in Canvas apps. We have the PCF targeted for the professional developers and all. Like there are number of discussions that will happen, like with the introduction of the Power Apps and all Power Apps platforms, there is a debate which is an never-ended conversation. Like, okay, Power Apps introduction, will there be an end for developers? No, it is not. Developers still have many of the things that needs to be done. This is one of the PCF, the things that can be done. And the components usage that you can do it for good usage and the rely with the Canvas apps and all. So you should having the leverage of the common maker skills and make it easier for the multiple makers. And updates was very important in each app that component. So I said, right, these are all the best practices for an Canvas app and its components usage. And PCF components usage, like to streamline and outline few of the things, can be used in model driven and also apps. And as you mentioned today only, there is an general availability present to integrate these PCF components directly into the Canvas app and can be used in multiple apps to replace columns and grids for both new and edit experiences. We can also require, so you can ask me a question. What are the things that are required for a PCF components building? The people should know aware about the TypeScript and also the HTML skills. That's it. Embedded Canvas apps on the model-driven forms. So generally, model-driven apps have certain limitations where only works on the web. If you wanted to work on the mobile devices, it will be a default control is shown. So that is how it is and all. If you observe right how we can do it in the navigation to the main form in the video. So just if the user is try to clicks on that particular, so it is an organization, it is an account entity where on the contact entity, if I try to click on directly, it allows me to the navigate to the contact. So there is no rocket science here. If you observe, this is only the FX, the function that you have to mention it. The same way for to open a quick create form, nothing needs to be done. Just you have to do this particular model driven form integration. This FX formula should be written. That's it. And to navigate to a particular view, as mentioned, shown here, just we have to write this particular FX formula, navigate to the view. And these are all the various things that are present for the optimizing the Canvas apps. And there are many optimizations that needs to be done. So many of the things that needs to be considered, right? Actively avoid delegation issues and performance needs to be considered. And also you have to see about and also improving optimizations in an ongoing support. So avoid any work that you can, defer work that is less likely to be needed, and parallelize the work and monitor the app and progress indicator. There are certain Microsoft documentation that is available to go for and monitor and all these things to monitor an app, how is it behaving, all these things and all. So using the Test Studio for reportables testing, these are all the suites, the tests, and also the test steps that you can do it. And also I said about right at the beginning, the portals. So when to go for these particular portals are the web enablers where you can perform all these things like accessibility ads, Azure integration, Bootstrap design, case reflection, case management, charts, grid, whatever the things that you can do it, everything. So centralized management, it has business rules, multi-link work, CDS, and roles and permissions. Okay, sorry, dataverse supportability, and also the common data model and declarative automation, plugin architecture, and XRM story also can be present. So many people ask about Power Apps portals and all. There is a discussion keeps on going. What are the difference between a portal and a normal Power Apps portal and all? There is nothing difference. Just the thing is we are going to use the Microsoft Dataverse database for all these things. The underlying core components of the portals like table list forms, web forms, dynamic contents, static contents, all things and the web pages remains the same. But the thing is, with the help of the strength of Power Services and also the extensibility points. Any queries?
No query as of now. Venkat, a time check.
Just 1 minute to complete this wrap up this one. So Power Apps portal architecture this is. So generally you can perform all the niches, like you can secure the content, you can perform the CRUD operations and also record level security, and also it is easy to configure about. So these are all the different use cases. So what are the key solution consideration you'll be using whenever you are using for the portals? The blank template and Dynamics 365 templates you should be going, and what is the gap that you are going to do, and how you are going to perform any business to customer B2C implementations. All these things you have to take into consideration. And also ALM. So for portal configurations and all, right, you have to use the configuration migration tool to move the assets from one environment to the another environment. You can have the caching, the data, all these things that you can do it. Wrapping up, user app experience will be allow the judge your solution architecture and take the type upfront to properly design your app composition and identify the components that should be built. So these are all the group exercises that we are going to do. And the sample project details and the explanation I'm going to give one particular thing. Just give me a minute. Okay, are you able to see my screen?
Yes,
Yeah.
Venkat, you can see the screen here.
Okay.
But just the
Let me
header.
zoom it out. Okay, let me zoom it out.
I guess we can see only your PPT screen. So are you going to share something like any kind of Dataverse screen or something?
Okay, let me reshare my screen then. 1 minute.
Yeah, sure. No issue.
Okay, so just were you able to see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay. Now, Sagar.
Still, it's a blank screen.
Blank is really maybe loading or something like that.
Okay. So before the screen loads, right, if you have any other questions, you can ask me. So once this particular screen loads, we can have an continuation of it. Okay, so let me precisely tell you about the particular project. So I'm going to give a particular project where it is an it is in Contoso services where they wanted to have in smart bids, and the main customers that they are having is the items from customers without support agreements, and items preferred for level support customers, and items for premier level support customers. Okay, so what is this particular project is having, right? So an XYZ but Contoso company has approached for the different partners to help him to implement his particular implementation, and he has to request the support can come for several resources like email, phone, and online chat and all, and the social media and so on. So what are all the key facts, right? The number of people that are present or number of solution users 2,500, and the number of field technicians like 100 employees and 500 contractors that are present. So number of customers are 1.5 million. These are all the various things that are present. And in the same way, whenever any organization or any company comes for the requirements, right, they will come up with some list of all the requirements that are present. So just you will be going to have that particular requirements as part of this. So don't worry, I will be going to share this talk to you at the end of this particular session. Right.
Venkata, there is one question from Karmakar Sharma. She is a Power Platform lead, and having hands-on experience in Power Platform components, including Dataverse, but she doesn't have any prior experience in Dynamics ERP and CRM product. Is it like PL600 the right certification for her?
Yes. So generally, right, first he or she he has to do this particular PL200 and the Dynamics. See, he's in particular he's doing the Power Platform related things, right? PL600 is in right certification. If he's going to target about the architect, he's going to do for an architect, and also as a lead, right? He has to. At times there is no budget will be present for a project to get an architect, or else at the time when the architect gets onboarded, right, he has to get to know about all these things. So I would recommend to take this particular certification for the PL600. Hope I answered
Hi,
this question.
Venkat. The question was from me. The reason I wanted to query about it is I do not have much experience on dynamic sales and finance. So that domain I'm not very, comfortable with, but I am, comfortable with everything in Power Platform. So that is the reason I wanted to know that, do I need to prepare differently from someone who already has a prior knowledge on that ground? So if so, can you,
No.
Suggest me how?
Okay. So as you see, there are learning paths that are available at the Microsoft, where just you can in 3 to 4 hours you will get to know about the information about the sales, what are all the different apps that are present in the Dynamics, whether it could be the sales, service, marketing, all these things and all. But at times, if you get to know, if you have some queries and all, right, Microsoft is the Docs is the current and the single source of the truth for you to go on it. And if and again, if you have certain queries and all, right, you can reach out to the Dynamics community, where we have for business application, number of MVPs are present and number of people are present who are ready to help you. Don't hesitate to give your questions, whether it may be a silly question or it may be not a valid question, but don't try it for it. And you are in a correct path, because as an architect, there are number of things that you should know about it, right? So now it is Power Apps. After that one, I'm not sure which kind of new product that you are going to come for the Microsoft. Now the Power PFX came. Many of the Microsoft developers or the Power Platform developers not aware of it, but the people who are about of the Excel, they are aware of these things. So don't have it, and you are in a right position to do it. Okay?
No, my actually basic question was that can I be at a position to be a solution architect to propose solutions on Power Platform without the in-depth knowledge in sales, finance, and all of that product?
Yes, you can do it. Just I told you right at the beginning. First, you have to do some kind of homework. What kind of customer he is about? If his total industry is about the sales and all right, before to having a conversation with him, just to have some kind of we can at the initial discussion we can tell that these are all sales app is present. You can use it. Rather than that particular in the next session and all, you can have some kind of discussion with him in the about it, because you have always technical team who are present. If you want, you can do some kind of rewards for you. Yeah.
Okay.
Hope
Thank
I
you.
answered your question. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Sagar, I hope this Excel sheet you could able to see it.
Yes, I can see that.
Okay, so like just you can you have to go about this is how we can do it. The typical request for proposal RFP, all the requirements you have to keep it here, and after that one, right, you have to do it in a skill matrix where the importance high level, high, medium, low. Generally in Agile methodology we call it as a t-shirt size, whether it is small, medium, large, and double XL and triple XL like that. Okay, so these are based upon this how much importance this is. Okay, see customer gave 18 requirements. Out of these 18 requirements, based upon the timeline, first we have to identify whether it is high, medium, low. After that one, example, this is high. Okay, this is high. This is high, medium, and low. Based upon that particular one, we have to see about the effort. It is high, medium, and low. And also, we have to first see about the out-of-box feature, whether it can be configured or whether it can be need any kind of customizations and all. And also the implementation comments, whether if you have any particular questions and all. So once if you go through all these particular questions and all, you should be getting, see, you might be 50% correct, but just you have to do all these particular efforts with the help of all the business teams and all. So generally you will get less amount of time to prepare any kind of RFPs. Okay, so at generally sales team, pre-sale, real time having an interaction with the customer, and the pre-sale will be present where the functional people and the business people will be doing it. But if there are any technical related things that are need to be done, then as an architect, we should be chipping, because there are a number of proposals to be present, and based upon the importance and all, we have to go for this. So this particular preparation of this all this matrix, we call it as an fit gap analysis. Okay, and Dynamics 365 apps, these are all the different apps that are present where we have to use this. Yes, I'm going to use this Business Central. I'm going to use the import tool, and I'm going to use the guides, and also the Microsoft Forms Pro and all. Okay. So this is how you are going to show it. And as usual, let me share my screen one more time.
Sorry, Venkata, for the interruption. We have 4 to 5 minutes left for session.
Right. Yes. APPT, Sagar?
Sir?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So generally for the common man tip. Yeah.
We can't see your screen. Like it's black.
Okay. Okay, so there is a lag here. So with this, there are certain common tips, common man tips that I would generally give to the people. So when coming to the common man tips for this PL600 certification, few tips I would suggest for all the participants. The first thing is get ample amount of time for this certification preparation. go through the documentation that is present in PL related to the PL 600 in Microsoft Learn and its documentation, and take 2 to 3 weeks of that particular time for its preparation. And the second tip I would suggest is please stay calm and focused on the content that is present in the MS Learn and the documentation. If you have any queries related to certain implementation, then just refer back to how that particular implementation that is being implemented through the MS Docs. And the third tip, right, as I mentioned, concentrate on the two areas. The first area is the first learning path of the PL 600 documentation, PL 600 certification, which is nothing but the pre-sales area. And the second one is related to the architecture related thing, which is present in the second learning path of this PL 600 certification. So with this, I am completely completed my content.